So this video is going to show a 2-channel setup for an ECoG. Now I want you to keep in mind that the best setup typically for an ECoG is a 1-channel horizontal montage, but I do want to show you how you would set it up if you had a 2-channel cable connector or a 2-channel setup with a vertical montage. So a couple of things here. We've got our 2-channel cable connector, the EPA4. And so I've got all of my cables here, all of my electrode leads. So I've got the vertex is the white one, and it's already connected to her forehead with a sticker electrode. And then I've got the ground, which is the black one, and that's the ground electrode that's also a sticker on her forehead. But when we're talking about ECoG, we're actually going to use different setup for the other electrodes. We're going to use tiptrodes here. And so these are gold foil tiptrodes. These are pediatric size, but we also have adult size. And so we see that there's gold foil all around them. And this is where we're gonna measure our recording for our testing. And so we wanna slide this in her ear, but we need to prep her ear first. So what we're gonna do, I'm gonna have the patient turn her head this way. And I've got 2 things we're gonna use. So we're gonna use the new prep to prep and clean the ear canal. And then we're gonna use Signagel so that we can get a better impedance for the actual recording that we're doing. So I'll put a little bit of both on a piece of gauze here. So I'll start with a little bit of new prep. And then I'm gonna do some Signagel as well. Don't want a lot, just a little bit. And so you can kind of see the difference. So this is the new prep and this is the Signagel. This is what we're cleaning with, and this is how we're getting a better impedance. We actually have this similar gel in the electrodes, so we can get good impedance for those as well. So we'll have this separate here. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna take our tiptrode on this side here. I'm actually gonna scoot it a little closer to her. So the thing to remember when we do this, we're gonna slide it in her ear once we're ready. You're gonna push and squeeze versus rolling and squeezing. So that will help you get it in better, but we don't want to lose some of the gold foil in the process. Before we do that, we're going to clean the ear. So I'm going to roll this Q-tip in some of the new prep here, and then we're going to slide it in her ear. It's a little bit cold, and so I prep them and just say this is going to be a little cold. We're going to slide it in, and I'm just going to roll it around in her ear. You want the whole head of the Q-tip to be in the ear canal because that's where the tiptrode is going to sit. So we're going to make sure it's nice and clean. And so we'll just kind of roll that around and get it nice and clean. And that's the first part. The second part, there's 2 ways you can do this. You can either roll some of this here on your Q-tip. If we do it this way, and I'll show you this way and I'll show you a different way on the other side. So we'll have it here on the Q-tip. I'm gonna push and squeeze to make it nice and tight. Remember, we're not rolling and squeezing because we'll lose the gold foil. So push like that. Once we're nice and tight, we're gonna roll this around. You want some gel on pretty much every part there, and then you're gonna very quickly slide it in the ear. Again, it feels a little weird to the patient, just like that. And so we want it in there nice and deep. I don't know if you can kind of tell, but we want it in there pretty good. Good, just like that. Now the last part to this setup, because this is the transducer that's putting the sound in the ear and acting as an electrode, we're gonna connect with an ECoG cable. So this is an alligator clip on it. And so I'm going to connect to the arm part here, and it has gold foil. So this needs to connect to the gold foil part. So as I go in here, I'm just going to open it up so you can hopefully see a little better. I'm going to clip it right there on the arm. And so we've got all that clipped. So this is going to measure the recordings, and this is where the sound is going into the ear. So it's twofold. Okay, so that's one ear. So let's roll to the other ear. So I'll have them turn the other way. So we're gonna do the other ear now. So again, I'm just gonna put a little bit of the new prep here on the Q-tip, and we're gonna put it in her ear. Remember to put the whole head of the Q-tip in there. You guys are a lot of times are afraid to put this in kind of deep. It will not be too deep if you put the whole head of the Q-tip in there. You will have looked in the ears ahead of time, and so you'll have a pretty good idea of how far you can go in. So we've got it nice and clean. So the second way that we can do this, I'm gonna slide these out of the way. The second way that we can set this up here, instead of putting it on a Q-tip, the Signagel, I can actually roll this directly into it. So there's really not a right or wrong. The thing you don't wanna do is put this on a Q-tip, the Signagel, and put it in the ear first, because if you slide the tiptrode in, it might clog the hole on the front. So we don't wanna do that, but you could make it nice and tight. Remember, squeeze, 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 and then roll it in the gel here directly. That might save you a step, and then we'll slide it in the ear. And again, remember, we want to get it nice and deep. You should have some good Signagel, and some of it might come off in the ear, and that's totally normal. We've got nice, good connection there, so our impedance will be better. And again, just like the other ear, we're going to take our alligator clip here, and we're gonna clip it to the gold foil part right there. So we don't want it so far out that it's not connected. Remember, this is where the sound's going in the ear, and this is where we're measuring the recording. And so this is gonna be our 2-channel vertical montage setup for an ECoG. Again, not the best setup, but one of the options you can do for an ECoG.